Can you imagine discovering that you were sold for money when you were just a baby? This is the most heartbreaking and hopeful story I've heard in years. A Chinese boy who lived his entire childhood believing a lie, until one day the truth came to light in the most unexpected way. Tell us in the comments. Have you ever discovered something about your past that completely changed your perspective on life? In the dusty streets of a small town in Anhui Province, where the air always carried the scent of spices from the local market and the sound of bicycles filled the mornings, lived a bright-eyed boy named Li Wei. He was 8 years old when he started to notice that something didn't fit in his family story. His parents, Wang Ming and Su Ling, owned a small fabric shop, but Li Wei never looked like either of them. Wang Ming had small eyes and a wide nose, while Su Ling was short and sturdy. Li Wei, on the other hand, had delicate features, big expressive eyes, and a height that already promised to surpass both parents. But what intrigued him the most wasn't his physical appearance, but the whispers he heard when neighbors thought he wasn't paying attention. "That child isn't theirs," Mrs. Chen once murmured while buying blue silk. "They brought him from very far away. They say they paid well for him." Li Wei pretended to be playing with his marbles, but every word was etched into his mind like hot iron. For years, Li Wei kept these doubts deep in his heart. His parents treated him with love, gave him education, food and shelter, but there was always an invisible distance, as if he were a permanent guest rather than a true son. When he turned 12, his curiosity became unbearable. One summer afternoon, while Wang Ming was taking a nap and Su Ling was tending the shop, Li Wei decided to explore the attic where they kept old belongings. Among dusty boxes and yellowed photographs, he found a rusty metal box hidden behind old blankets. His hands trembled as he opened it. Inside were documents he didn't fully understand, but one thing was clear. His real name was not Li Wei. On a crumpled piece of paper, written in shaky handwriting, he read Zhao Chen, born May 15, 1995, given up due to economic need. His heart beat so loudly he thought the whole town could hear it. That night, Li Wei couldn't sleep. The words, "given up due to economic need," echoed in his mind like funeral bells. What did it really mean? Had he been sold like merchandise? Who were his real parents? Why had they given him up? Over the next few months, Li Wei became a silent detective. He listened to conversations, asked seemingly innocent questions, and slowly began to piece together the truth. His great-aunt, the elderly Mei, finally revealed the whole story one afternoon while peeling peaches in the yard. "Your real mother was very young," Mei said with a broken voice, unaware that Li Wei had already discovered part of the truth. "She was barely 16 when she became pregnant. The baby's father was a college student who left her when he found out. Her family kicked her out because of the shame." Li Wei felt as if the world was collapsing around him. His biological mother had been a lonely teenager, rejected by her own family, facing a pregnancy without support. "And then what happened?" he asked in a barely audible voice. "She worked cleaning houses until the day you were born. She had you in a public hospital, alone with no one by her side. The doctors said you cried a lot, as if you could feel your mother's pain." Mei paused, wiping tears that started to roll down her wrinkled cheeks. After the birth, she had no money to raise a baby. No home, no steady job, no family. A social worker told her about Wang Ming and Su Ling, who had been trying to have children for 10 years without success. They had saved money for medical treatments, but when those treatments failed, they decided to help a mother in need. Elderly Mei took Li Wei's hands in hers, as small and fragile as dry leaves. "It wasn't a sale, my boy. It was an act of desperate love. Your biological mother wanted to make sure you had a better life than she could offer you. Wang Ming and Su Ling gave her money so she could start a new life, study, work. It was an adoption, but in those times in our town, these things were done quietly." Li Wei felt as if he had been holding his breath for years and could finally exhale. The truth was painful but also freeing. He had not been sold like an object. He had been given away out of love, out of a teenage mother's desperate wish to give him a chance at a better life. But the story didn't end there. Li Wei needed to know more about his biological mother. With May's help, he found out her name was Zhao Xiaoli, and that she had managed to study nursing with the money Wang Ming and Su Ling had given her. She now worked at a hospital in Hefei City, about 3 hours from their town. For months, Li Wei planned how to contact her. He wrote letters he never sent, practiced imaginary conversations, and dreamed of the moment they would reunite. When he turned 16, he decided it was time to find her. With savings from part-time jobs and without telling Wang Ming and Su Ling, Li Wei took a bus to Hefei on a foggy October morning. The trip felt endless. Every kilometer increased his nervousness and anticipation. Would she recognize him? Would she be happy to see him or prefer he remain part of her buried past? The Hefei People's Hospital was a modern multi-story building, full of people coming and going constantly. Li Wei asked at information for Zhao Xiaoli, and the receptionist told him she worked on the pediatric floor. As he rode the elevator up, his legs trembled so much he thought he wouldn't be able to walk. He found her in the hallway, reviewing medical charts. She wore a white nurse's uniform and had her hair tied in a perfect bun. Despite the years, Li Wei could see in her the features he had inherited. The same big eyes, the same delicate nose, the same slender height. "Nurse Zhao?" he asked in a trembling voice. She looked up and for a moment time stopped. Her eyes immediately filled with tears, as if she had been waiting for this moment for 16 years. "Chen," she whispered, using the name she had given him at birth. "It's me, Mom," Li Wei answered, and they embraced in the middle of the hospital hallway while other workers watched with curiosity and tenderness. Zhao Xiaoli had thought about him every day for 16 years. She had kept a photo of him as a baby, had discreetly asked around about him through people in town, and had saved money hoping she could contact him someday when he was an adult. "I never abandoned you for lack of love," she told him as they sat in the hospital cafeteria, their hands intertwined on the table. "I gave you up because I loved you too much to condemn you to a life of poverty and struggle. I wanted you to have parents who could give you everything I couldn't." Li Wei told her about his life with Wang Ming and Su Ling, about his education, his dreams of studying medicine, his happy childhood despite the doubts. Zhao Xiaoli listened with a mixture of pride and pain, glad to know her sacrifice had been worth it. "Do you hate me for what I did?" she asked fearfully. "No, Mom. I admire you. You made the hardest decision a mother can make, and you did it out of love. You gave me 2 families who love me, instead of a life of deprivation." That afternoon, Li Wei called Wang Ming and Su Ling to tell them where he was. He expected anger, reproaches, but instead he heard relief in their voices. "We knew one day you'd want to know your full story," Wang Ming told him. "We're proud you had the courage to seek the truth." The next day, Li Wei's 3 parents met for the first time since that transaction 16 years ago. Wang Ming, Su Ling, and Zhao Xiaoli hugged and cried together, recognizing they had all been part of a story of love and sacrifice, not abandonment and sale. Li Wei understood he had been blessed with a unique situation. He had a biological mother who loved him enough to let him go, and adoptive parents who loved him enough to raise him as their own. There were no villains in his story, only people who made difficult decisions out of love. Today, Li Wei is 25 years old and a medical student, inspired by his biological mother's work. He maintains a close relationship with both families, celebrates birthdays with Wang Ming and Su Ling, and visits Zhao Xiaoli every weekend. She never married or had other children, dedicating her life to caring for sick children as a way to honor the son she gave away. Li Wei's story became an inspiration for many families in similar situations. He founded an organization that connects biological and adoptive parents, helping create support networks instead of secrets and lies. His message is simple but powerful. True love sometimes means letting go, and true family is defined by care, not by blood. What do you think of this incredible story of love, sacrifice, and reunion? Do you think Li Wei made the right decision by searching for his biological mother? Leave us your opinion in the comments, and if this story touched your heart, share it so others can also reflect on the true meaning of family love.